Welcome to American BBQ'ers. Today we're making smoked Salisbury steak. You're going to want 1.5 pounds of ground beef. I have 80/20. To that, you're going to add 1/2 cup of panko breadcrumbs. That's the kind I'm using today. I'm going to add 1 egg, like so. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper to taste, like that. Then you're going to get your can of French onion soup. Give it a good shake. We're going to use about 1/3 of this can. If you like to use your own French onion soup, these cans right here are 10.5 ounces. So it's just a little over 1 cup total. We're going to use about 1/3 of this. Just pour it on it like so. Save the other part. That's what we're going to use to make the gravy for it. Once you get it to here, we're going to mix. You can use a stand mixer with a paddle blade if you want. I like using my hands. You're going to get in here, give it a good mix. And after you get it all mixed up really well, you're going to portion this meat into 4 or 6 patties, depending on the size of the patty that you're looking for. Then that's when we'll come back. Okay, after you get it well mixed, you're going to, like I said, decide between 4 or 6 patties. So I use a scale. I weighed the whole batch here. For 1.5 pounds of beef, and then adding our other ingredients, actually brought our total mixture up to about 2 pounds. Okay, so I'm making 4 8-ounce patties. What I do, I keep a flat hand. This other hand I kind of grab and squeeze, and I rotate the ball in my hand, just giving it a firmer texture. That way it doesn't just fall completely apart as you're working with it. Then once you got a ball that's relatively firm and well together, just start pattying it out, and then give the piece of meat the classic shape of a Salisbury steak, which is going to be kind of oblong to an oval type shape, roughly like this. And you want to be about yay thick as well. We're about in between 1/4 and 1/2 or so. Okay. Once you do that, you place them all out on your pan. Go to the refrigerator until you're ready to cook. You want these to kind of firm up. Working them with your hands is going to get them a little loose. You want them to tighten back up before we go out to the smoker. Okay, it's been about 1 hour sitting in the refrigerator. They've gotten themselves nice and firmed up again. From here, I'm going to take it out to the grill. We're going to smoke at 250 for 1 hour. When we come back, I'm going to show you how to make the gravy that goes with your Salisbury steak. Okay, now that we have our meat out on the grill smoking, we're going to concentrate on the gravy that goes with your Salisbury steak. You're going to want to slice 1/2 an onion, and you don't want to go super thin. You want to have relatively thick pieces. You don't want the onions to be dissolved or lost when they cook down. Same thing with the mushrooms. We got 1/2 pound of mushrooms. You want them a good size and just sliced like that. For the actual gravy part, we're going to use 1/4 cup of Heinz ketchup, 1 tablespoon of flour. You're going to put that in the bowl. You're going to mix the ketchup and the flour first together. You do not want to add the flour and then any other type of liquid, because you'll end up with flour balls that you may not get out, and then you're just going to end up eating and hit a pocket of just dry flour. You don't want that to happen. Okay, so we have the ketchup and the flour. I've got 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to add to it now. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I prefer the Lee & Perrins. We want 1 tablespoon. like so. Okay, give this a nice little mix here. And then to this, we are going to add that other 2/3 of a can of the French onion soup. Remember, I told you to save it. And again, if you're making your own French onion, which I do encourage for those who have a good French onion recipe, this can is 10.5 ounces, which is basically about, that's about 1.25 cups of French onion soup if you don't have a measuring cup that gives you the ounces, or if you don't have a scale that measures liquid ounces. So the 10.5 ounces is basically 1.25 cups. 1/3 of that went in your meat mixture, and the rest of it goes here. And you're going to give this a nice stir, like so. From here, you're going to saute your onions and mushrooms in a tablespoon of butter, and that's where you'll meet me back. Okay, we have melted butter. The pan's hot. Don't know if you can see it. It's kind of steaming a little bit. I'm going to add our onions first. That's half an onion sliced. Okay, we're going to get it going. And once these onions start to brown slightly, then we're going to add our mushrooms. Okay. You notice we got a little bit of light browning going on our onions, and like I said, it is just light browning. Now we're going to add our mushrooms. And we're going to let these mushrooms cook down. They're going to release some water that they have inside of them. And we want some of that moisture to come out. That's one of the reasons why we started cooking our onions first. I wanted to get a little color and caramelization on your onions before all these mushrooms will release their moisture. Because once that happens, you're not getting any more browning at all. Okay, we've got the moisture cooked out of the mushrooms. We got a little continued browning going on. Which wasn't expected, but that is perfectly fine. These mushrooms didn't have a whole lot of moisture in them. So from there, we're going to add our mixture. Okay. We're going to turn the temperature down to a low simmer once we get this fully added. I'm going to give it a little stir, like so. Okay. I'm going to turn the temperature down to low. We're just going to slow cook this for about 5 minutes. Okay. The gravy was starting to get a little thick, so I did add another 1/4 cup of water to it, just to kind of help thin it out a little bit. Now I have the heat turned off now. It's been about 5 minutes. From here, you can do nothing and be done with it and just scoop this and top it on your Salisbury steak. Or during the last 15 minutes of cooking, you can put your Salisbury steaks in a shallow pan and pour this over the top of them to get a little bit of smokiness. But right, okay, after your hour of cooking, you pull the Salisbury steaks off, top it with your gravy, and serve it with a side of potatoes and whatever vegetable you like.